This is an introduction to the application Pet Services version 12. What I'm going to explain is the overview of the application, what its purpose is. If you have a business that includes services for any sort of pet, that could be a dog, cat, bird, or any kind of an animal, including a furrier and any type of a thing where you go to a residence or have in-service in your own business where you're doing something with an animal, where you're providing services and products, then this application is an ideal application for you. It basically may need some tweaking done on it as far as individual businesses where you have maybe a custom requirement, and that can be easily done. First thing I want to explain is what you're looking at is the calendar for scheduling. Now, this calendar is an add-on to this application, and in that it has its own help built into it that explains all the elements you're looking at on the screen, and it gives you the information on how to use the calendar by itself. Now, I'm going to cover some of the unusual things about the calendar that I've added. For example, there's a hide and show menus button that shows the menus or hides them on either the application, on the iPad, or if this is the cloud, then it would hide it on the cloud. There is a individual video help for each screen where it needs to be. Some of the screens, like list views, will be similar, so I might not include all those. One of the first things I want to point out is that the application opens up the screen to the current day. If you click this button right here, it will take you to the current day, move back a day, forward a day, and it will also, if you take this thing here where it says show completed, if you uncheck that, only the items that are current would show on the screen, and the ones that are completed would not show. If you put a check mark in it, then it'll show completed appointments. Now, this calendar is built around appointments, so it is very much like the business you do. If you were a hairstylist, this would be an ideal application for you because you could track each individual appointment as it comes in. This is a search frame where you can search on the calendar for phrases that are in the calendar or words. There's a day, week, month, year, and list view that shows you all the different appointments that are listed. Now, where it really gets kind of technical is where we're going to start now. This application has the ability to have pre-identified calendars. Each one of these is a different calendar. And what happens if you click on one of these and it goes to the different calendar, then it will only show those things that are for that particular thing. For example, if you're doing sales and you're going out and doing contacts where you're trying to bring in new business, then the sales contact would be where you would be putting appointments. Likewise, if you're taking out something that you're going to deliver to a client, that would be a delivery schedule that you would have. On-site would be if you're going to the site where the location is, like a business or a home where you're going to do services at that location. When to jump down to say that services here would be in your own business area. Like if you had a service business within your home or business, you would have it here. This is a rental. Now, where you may be renting things, this application is designed to have the ability to do rentals. That might be cages or whatever that is not a consumable thing, but is something that would be returned to you after the rental period was done. There is a reschedule. If you have people that are dropping out of being scheduled but are uncertain as to when they're going to be rescheduled, you can put them into the reschedule appointments calendar, and then you can track them back to the day they asked to be rescheduled and bring forward and come into either a service in the business or outside as rescheduling them. When they're completed, and I'm going to show you this, when we actually add an appointment where it says completed here, there will be a checkbox. So if you reschedule or finish anything, you will be putting the information in this checkbox. If you miss an appointment for whatever reason, the missed or expired appointments will show up over on this side of the calendar because they're not completed, but yet they were not satisfied on the date that they were supposed to be done. Also down here at the bottom, because this is checked, any service appointments or any type of appointments for the calendar you're viewing will have an underline if there is something in that calendar. So for example, if I go back to the administrator level and create an appointment, you'll see that I have one here on the 15th that was created. So there is an appointment there, and if I click on that 15th, it'll go to that date and show you that there is actually an appointment on that date. You can see it was created where it was appointment number 1. The administrator put it in. It was the date and the time of the appointment, and there's an icon that indicates that this was in a rental, and in this case it was completed because it has a completed check mark in it, so it would not show up in the expired area over here. Now, I'm going to touch base a little bit on some of the inside things that this application will do on the calendar, but if you have technical questions, I'm going to talk to you about those by going to the help here and bringing up the help, which is an online help that will explain all the standard things that come with the calendar. But I do want to point out some of the unique things. If you go through the calendar, you'll see that each appointment for the date that is selected will be shown down here on the bottom, and then the full week will be shown. In addition, on the month calendar will show you the individual appointments that are coming due and where they are in your schedule. And if you look at the yearly calendar, you can scroll through the entire year and look at all of the year schedules. For example, if I come over and grab the scroll bar, I can go through the entire year and look at all the appointments that happened during the year. You can see the only one that we currently have was Sunday the 15th in the month of September. The list view will list all of the appointments that are currently available in the system that are being scheduled or are currently in the listing. Now, when you have a lot of appointments, this will fill up, and then you'll be able to scroll back and forth based on the dates for the start and finish to see each one of those different scheduled appointments. Let's go back to the day calendar. And in the day calendar, what we want to cover in here that we haven't covered, that there are some side things, like there's a multilingual thing where you can change the language, and you can change it between English, Dutch, French, Turkish, and Polish, and you actually can go in here and actually type your own words that replace the current words that are in there for the items that they are. I don't recommend you do that unless you come to tech support and ask me to help you out when you're going to do that, because there are some things that you need to know about using this particular thing. Under users, if you look at the user part of this calendar, you're going to see where there are the calendars that were currently created. Typically what happens when I put this application and send it to you together, what I do is I add you with your own specific calendar. I create you as an administrator like I am in this, give you a username and password that you log in with, or your employees would have their own calendars if you so needed that. But if you're just running the desk or a front end of the business and you don't have extra employees, but if you do, you want a calendar for each individual employee by their name, where you can actually, and I'm going to show you this later, put a check in a checkbox to add them to a calendar that may have anything that's related to something they should know about. Or it's a appointment they create where it might be a contact, delivery, or one of these items. Okay, that being known, and that how this is working, that should not cause you any other things that you need to know other than reading the help if you have detailed questions to learn about. If you want to log out as one client and move in as another one, you can use the passwords for individuals that you know the usernames and passwords for. If you have any questions, you can always contact me by email or Skype to get the answer to those questions. Thank you.